Welcome everyone to the September, virtual mapping hours. Today we have Rahul Reddy, who is an undergraduate student from NIT Suratkal. So he worked on Nominatim, which is a search engine of OpenStreetMap, and he wrote documentation in OpenStreetMap diary, and he'll be presenting about his work with mentors, and the more on what is the future of this search engine of OpenStreetMap. Rahul, over to you. You can start presenting your slides. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Chetan. Hello, everyone. I'm Rahul, a final year undergraduate student from NITK. So, can you see my screen now?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. So, all right. Yeah, so I started working with OpenStreetMap like in this March. Before that, I had come across OpenStreetMap in February this year when I was in a hackathon, and the hack was based on Maps API. We were using Google Maps API, and there was one particular feature which was not accessible with a non-paid account. So that's when we were like completely stuck, and we looked for open source alternatives. That's when we first came across OpenStreetMap. Uh, like I did not like use it for that particular project, but that just stuck in my mind. So next thing, yeah, when I was applying for GSoC, I saw that OpenStreetMap is one of the organizations. That's when I went ahead and applied for OpenStreetMap. So to give a bit of info about myself, yeah, as I told, I'm very new to OpenStreetMap. I have done very less mapping as such, but I have contributed through code, both by solving the GSoC problem statement as well as solving few open issues on Nominatim. So and also back in my college, I am lead organizer for one of the hackathons, which is like Hackers. It is a national, India-wide event, uh, which is conducted by NITK. And also I'm SIG head for a code, which is one of the special interest groups in NITK of IE, which is a student club in NITK. So, okay, to get to the agenda of the meet, I'll be talking about Nominatim and what Nominatim is. Then I'll get into my project, which is adding suggestions to Nominatim. So I'll describe more later. Then I'll talk about the state of the project, the state in which it is, and what needs to be done further. Then I'll talk about how to use this particular project and how can you access it. After that, I'll talk about what are the features, what are the special features that have been added for this project. After that, I'll get a bit into how to set up this project on your particular Nominatim instance. Then I'll talk about what work is still left to be done to further improve this project. I've put questions over there, but if you have questions at any point of time, please you can stop and ask those. Okay, so Nominatim is the main search engine that powers OpenStreetMap. If you go to openstreetmap.org and if you search anything, there are other like search engines as well, but Nominatim is one of the like main search engines over there. So yeah, Nominatim uses a PostgreSQL database to store OpenStreetMap data. Then yeah, where and initially like suggestions are not directly available on Nominatim. If you type you and search, only then you get results. There are no results when you are typing. So why do we need to provide these suggestions? There are like clear, visible, reasons why we need to do that, right? Like they make the search process way smoother, and even like with partial search terms, you could actually get the correct results. It'll help the users reach results very faster. So yeah, and also features like typo tolerance could help get way better results. These are few of the motivations which were there while we started. I mean, for this particular project. This project was like proposed. I mean, it was one of the ideas proposed by Sarah Hoffman and Mark Tobias, who were my mentors during this uh, GSoC project. So I took up that project and finished it during this summer. So yeah, the state of the project is something like it's still a work in progress. We have added a lot of features, and it is currently hosted in one of the hosted servers, but it still lacks a few features, which that's the main reason it has not been deployed as of now. Uh, like there are still like the planning going on as to can we release a beta version of this on a different tab of Nominatim altogether, but as of now it's not deployed. So yeah, also test cases and few other additions are yet to be made. And also if you if you do get a chance to try out this particular feature, it would be great if you add issues to the open source uh, you know repository. I'll be sharing links towards the end of this session as to where you can see and where you can access stuff. So yeah, let's move to the next thing as to how to use these suggestions. um, Okay, let's just move to the demo of this particular project. Uh, yeah, as you can see, this is GSoC 2020 nominatim.org. This is basically a server given to me by OpenCage as part of this GSoC project. I completely worked on this server and hosted a planet-wide DB and indexed it using uh, you know Elasticsearch. So let's, if you see, this is currently not there in like nominatim.org. If you go to nominatim.openstreetmap.org, this is how the standard nominatim.org is. If you search for India, uh, yeah, you get the results. If you search for Bangalore, only then you get the results. Now if you go here and if you search for maybe like, let's say, National Institute of Technology, and you can already see like a lot of results being shown, which are like, yeah. So this was added as part of this particular GSoC project. Yeah, and also it's not like it's just added to one particular website. We have API endpoints which have been set up. So I was able to set up this particular API endpoint called like autocomplete. To give more description, actually, yeah. Uh, if you can see here, there is one endpoint called autocomplete, and there is another endpoint called prefix match. Like the main reason for keeping all this is so that if different users could have different types of requirements, and they could actually use different endpoints based on their requirement. So for now, I'll just describe about what are the different endpoints we have. First one is autocomplete. Uh, yeah, autocomplete requires Q as the query as one of the important ones. Let's just see, maybe if I search for HSR, yeah, okay, it gives us results. As you can see, not everything is like, okay. If you see one of the fields which is being returned, that is importance. So we are also sorting the results based on the importance score. Now Nominatim has this special feature that it actually calculates importances of all the places based on the like Wikipedia data and Wikimedia data. So there is proper formulas to calculate importances of each and every place. Uh, so yeah, as you can see, like we are sorting the results based on this importance score along with the score calculated by Elasticsearch. So these places, I mean, the main reason we are using Elasticsearch for suggestions is that, uh, as I told before, right, Nominatim uses PostgreSQL database, and searching partial queries or anything like that, like Maybe if you see like yeah, this partial query and this needs to be fetched very quickly. That can't be done on a PostgreSQL database. So Elasticsearch provides us a way of indexing them so that we can immediately get the results. That's why, as part of this project, a separate DB has been set up altogether. Mm, so yeah, as you can see, the results are sorted based on the importance score as well. Now let's look at other features as well. Like, okay, other than just the query, we have other endpoints like, I mean, other parameters like limit. Right? Limit equals to one. Yeah, you can limit based on how many results you actually want. By default, it returns 10, and other parameter is factor. I'll describe a bit about factor now. If factor equals to 0, as you can see, the results completely changed, right? So before this, it was the ICICI Bank, which was the first one. Right now, it is something else altogether. To understand why this factor is changing that, let's get let's go to this place where there is a formula. Yeah, as you can see, this calculated importance is based on Wikipedia importance, or there is basically not every place has Wikipedia importance, right? Not every place might have Wikipedia articles to calculate score. So what we did, I mean, this is a standard formula used by Nominatim as well. So they use rank search. Nominatim actually has ranks for each types of places. This way, the detailed instruction of like, I mean, details of which kind of place has which rank can be found in the Wikipedia articles. But it's like, uh, country like uh, basically rank 30 are very local places. Like maybe if you map your whole apartment, that could be rank 30 kind of places. Then that's what we are using and calculating this. And for our particular project, we are calculating importance based on that importance along with a factor. So that importance is multiplied by the factor and added to Elasticsearch score. Since Elasticsearch score is completely based on uh, how the word match is being done, right? I'm searching for HSR, so it will search for HSR alone. And if factor is 0, the formula is just Elasticsearch score. So you only get HSR included results. But if you don't, if you maybe increase it to like 10, you can see that yeah, the results have changed drastically, right? It's no longer just looking for HSR, but it is also looking for the importance score of place and calculating a different score altogether. So that's how like this particular scoring is being done. Then let's get to another feature that we have, which is okay. Before that, let's just try this. Maybe I'm searching for India, but I do a you know uh, yeah, I'll just do a typo here, and I basically get some other place altogether, right? Which has which starts with INDJA. So this is not something. Maybe others like some applications might need it. Maybe you might be developing an application where you want only the most prominent places to come up, including typo tolerance. So then you just apply fuzzy equals to true. So what fuzzy does is fuzzy takes care of, I mean, tries to incorporate few changes here and there, and then fetch results. So if you see, INDJA has been like interpreted as India, and then like we got results of India, like which include India, and okay, maybe this has some sort of combination of this. So that's why even these results are coming. Yeah, if you see ENDJA, I typed INDJA. That's kind of like how what the fuzzy search is doing. If you want to read more about what kind of queries are being run, you can look into the documentation. Like the main repository has like proper documentation of what are the queries being run, and yeah, these are the Elasticsearch queries which are being run to get these results. Now, okay, moving back, yeah, there will definitely be cases where this is not feasible, right? Like if you try New York, maybe with fuzzy equals to true. Let's see what happens. Yeah, as you can see, the first result is okay, some place in a main street in New York. But if but the actual desired result is something like this. If you search for New York, you actually expect the place New York to come first, right? I mean the city to come first. So that's kind of uh, maybe fuzzy isn't the best thing to use. That's why by default we are not using fuzzy. We just, as you can see, fuzzy is not being used, and you just get normal results as such. So yeah, that's about fuzzy. Then we have a complete endpoint altogether. If sub oh I'll describe a little bit more about what this particular one does. Maybe we'll use national. Actually, we can describe more here. Uh, if you see National Institute of Technology, that's good. Like we got a lot of results, right? What if you want to stir things up and maybe search for uh, Trichy? Yeah, Trichy first, then National Institute of Technology. Then you get something like this. But if you are getting correct suggestions which can be used to fetch results. But if you use Trichy National Institute of Technology and search directly on Nominatim, okay, here you're getting, but there might be cases that when you don't write places in the correct order, they might end up not giving correct results. I don't have fixed example for that, but there might be cases. So what we are doing is we are kind of filtering, tokenizing. This tokenizing actually helps in getting like results which are not straightforward. Pradesh, Andhra, maybe, yeah, this gives us results as well. So tokenization is being done, and the search terms are like individually searched for, and we are getting results. You can again read more about how we are tokenizing over here. We use something called as using a term set. So this term set actually checks that minimum, these many number of terms are properly matching, and then there is one more free prefix match. That's how we are actually, getting these results. So okay, then let's get to few more features that are added into the search suggestions. Mm, okay, let's get to, yeah, tokenization allows reordering of search terms. Karnataka National Institute of Technology would actually give you NITK and even NIFT as one of the results. Then yeah, then I already covered this. Yeah, let's get to language now. Maybe if you use the Kannada alphabet K, and type it out over here, as you can see, there are parentheses in the results. What it actually is doing is it's searching for what we are doing is we are searching for results, and those results could include both. My browser default language is English, but imagine me searching some place in China, which I wouldn't probably understand. This place, okay, still has an English name, so I kind of got it. But imagine some person uh, maybe searching for this. Like I don't know what is happening here. Uh, but this parenthesis, as you can see, this one, right? At least greedy cat barbecue. So I, what we are doing is we are putting the English is my browser default language that has been detected, and that particular language tags are being put in parentheses so that it will help the searching party to get proper results, instead of not understanding the language and then searching. So that's one another feature which has been added. So if the browser default language is available, we just put that in parentheses to make the user understand the query better. That is another feature that has been added. Then also the timing of queries. Maybe I can show you waterfall here as well. If you go to network, okay. Yeah. Let's just look at how much time each of the queries takes, right? Maybe if I search for National Institute, yeah. as you can see, like initially it was bit high, but yeah, it's kind of it kind of gets close to 200 milliseconds and all for each of the queries to run. Also, do keep in mind that this server is actually the server which I'm using is physically in Germany, so that physical lag also exists. So yeah, that's one thing. Then yeah, I think I covered few of the features. Other things, okay. Looking at the size of the database, uh, the OpenStreetMap planet-wide dump itself is like 90 GB if you download it. So our Elasticsearch DB has been made in such a way that it actually takes up 10.6 GB. The current planet-wide DB, which has been indexed in Elasticsearch, is just 10.6 GB, and it has these many records as of now. Also, these are not every records which have been like properly filtered so as to save time and memory. Uh, okay, now getting into more features, I think yeah, icons, as you might have noticed, icons are something which have been added. If you search for peak, then yeah, peaks show up, and the icon is corresponding to what kind of place it is. This is a feature in Nominatim UI which shows up, which has also been incorporated into the suggestions as well. Then yeah, I think these are about like how the API and this website is working, and how to what are the different types of features that have been put into this. Now let's move into the project setup itself. Like if you want to set up this particular suggestions on your own Nominatim instance, or any other like instance with a different UI altogether, I'll kind of give a brief of how you could do that. So first thing
Rahul,
we need to do
yeah,
is yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Let's take a moment. If our
okay,
team
sure,
has any questions, if members,
sure,
if
yeah.
any
If
of you have any
anyone
questions
has any questions, yeah.
so far.
So the Postgres database has changed to this Elasticsearch for the Nominatim.
No, it hasn't been changed. This is just an additional database which has been set up. So PostgreSQL
Okay.
will still be there. This is being set up from the PostgreSQL data itself.
Okay.
Uh,
So
I
what
think I
about
can share.
Indic
Yeah.
search? Is it possible now?
Sorry, search.
Indic language search. If we search in Tamil or Telugu, it will work.
Yeah, I think it should still work. I mean, if we search for maybe, uh, okay, I got like Dakshin Kannada here. I'll just use only the Dakshin Kannada part. Yes, there is like multi-language support, and also if you want to index only particular languages, even that could be done. So yeah, Dakshin Kannada gives Dakshin Kannada. And more specifically, if you want like suggestions based on Dakshin Kannada, we are getting those as well.
Okay.
But the only thing is, okay, I'll get to that language part a little, like when I'm showing you the code part, right? I'll be showing you the language tags as well. So, okay, any other questions or queries as to?
Yeah, Rahul. So what kind of data is indexed? Just the names and their translations, or anything else?
Okay, I am basically indexing place, place names in different languages. Uh, so these languages can be provided by the indexer. Like if I am indexing my own DB, I can myself provide like which tags I want to index, and then few other parameters like place ID. Place ID is just for debugging, but category and type are two parameters being used for like finding out the which icon should be shown as part of this, right? If you speak, uh, so any place with peak, I mean that is being used. Then other importance score and country code are being used. For the address formation itself, if you know, like Nominatum doesn't store addresses as such. It has a different way altogether. Like New York City Hall is a different place ID, then Broadway, then Civic Center. It stores like that. This address whole thing is being formed by my program and then being indexed into the Elasticsearch database. That's how I'm doing.
Okay,
So
you're
I,
make sorry, you're making the entire address and then indexing into the.
Yes, I'm forming the addresses. So I can show you the code as well. Like, I'll just,
I can see the
it's
screen,
just
but
okay. Like, it's basically we recursively form all the addresses and then index them into the Nominatim database. So
I have one more question actually, Rahul. What if there is a duplicate, city ID? Suppose we have Hyderabad in India, Hyderabad in Pakistan also. In that sense, like how it searches, which parameter it will take.
basically, it just suggests both of them. Like, I mean, Hyderabad, if I search, okay, the places are coming something like this. The Pakistan one is second. There is some Hyderabad place here. But main thing I can show you is from this actually. If I search, I get these results. So as you can see, like this is completely based on the importance score which is calculated, right? The importance score of this particular major place is like uh, this much, and the I think in Pakistan place is like 0.4632, and it just keeps it in that order. So I'm not sure like why the Hyderabad place is
Yeah,
not there, but Hyderabad and yeah, Hyderabad Telangana is kind of missing.
I mean, it's based on Wikipedia entries, right?
Yeah, yeah. It basically I think yeah Hyderabad doesn't have enough like in links coming in. That's why Hyderabad Telangana doesn't have enough in links. So probably it's like not being shown up in one of the lists.
Okay.
Uh, maybe if I increase the limit to 20 and then search for Telangana. Oh, I don't see that place here. I'm not sure. Maybe the rating is too low. But yeah, the sorting is completely based on the Wikipedia importances. And also, if you feel like this factor is not working that well, then you could always like change the factor and then try. But yeah. So okay.
Yeah, we can look into that in offline, maybe. Yeah. So yeah, this is
So okay. Are there any other questions or?
anybody have any questions? Okay, let's continue.
Okay, sure. So, okay. For setting up any project, you need Nominatim, right? So, Nominatim has its own setup instructions. I mean, everything is properly available in their repository. So, once you have, I mean, most distributions already have everything set up. So, also one more thing I just wanted to mention is it's possible to set up multiple extracts of Nominatim, like I mean multiple extracts of OpenStreetMap data into Nominatim. So that has been added recently. That's okay. Release docs. If you go here, you could actually find a way of importing multiple regions. So that is something. I mean, this is one of the open issues which I had taken up and I set it up. But it's like if you want more than one place, like maybe Monaco and Andorra, you can just follow these instructions and set up something like that. So for my local system, I have a DP of three different places. It's like Andorra, Monaco, and East Sussex. East Sussex is one of the like places in Great Britain. So yeah, I have those three. Now so maybe your extract could be bigger or different, but for example, I'll be just demonstrating on that particular setup of Nominatim. Then another thing you need to do is set up Elasticsearch. So for setting up Elasticsearch, all you have to do is just go to the Elasticsearch Okay, Elasticsearch, yeah, has its own like website. You just go there, you download it. If you're on Linux based system, it's directly downloadable. Yeah, so if I can show maybe, okay, I'll just start. I have downloaded it already, and I'm just running the Elasticsearch instance on a local system. It'll take few seconds before it comes on. Okay, the server is kind of too heavy actually. It's kind of ending because I have a live call going on and this, right? It might slow down my system a bit. So, okay, once the Elasticsearch is up and running, right, we need to configure our Python application. So as part of this GSoC project, I've written a Python application, uh, which can be used to, basically it uses all this to set up DB connection, then Elasticsearch connection, then making sure all the addresses are formed correctly, and then it indexes that into the Elasticsearch DB. So if I get here, yeah, I'll just quickly show you what this application is. It's the same code as that repository you saw. So as you can see, yeah, the first thing in this is the languages. If you want to add any languages, maybe if you want to add Kannada, you can just add Kannada. Then if you want any other language, you find out its language code in Nominatim and then put it over here. That is how you can simply easily add language tags which need to be indexed. Then okay, other thing is, yeah, this does the name appending. After that, if you, there are many other tags as well. There is one of the very famous ones in Britain, at least, is house name. So what happened was, if any of you know, there is one thing called Photon. It also uses Elasticsearch, but it is a very old project in Java, which also uses OpenStreetMap data. I mean Nominatim actually. It builds on Nominatim only. So there is one open issue to set up house name as one of the tags. I had done that, so I thought like maybe I could use the same for this. So I set up this way so that if you want, you can just easily append any of the tags, and it's done. If you append it here, maybe if you need a new tag altogether, you just duplicate the same line, change the name, and it will actually append that name as well in your indexing. Now, next thing is you need to provide nominatim access when you are actually trying to, access, right? So for now, I have changed like my like local nominatim password to temporary pass, but you need to provide this. In repository, it's an empty string, and also if you want to use a different reader altogether, you can just create a new user and set a password, then give only read only access and set this up. So yeah, I'm creating a index name called nominatim suggestions. But these are the main configurations that you should do for your based on your distribution of nominatim. And if you want to see the output, maybe based on that, you can just set to debugging mode, right? Debugging is like information mode, or debug will show a lot of extra things you might not want to know. So, okay, once we know that we have added the language which we know and tags that we want, we can go ahead and try to actually, run the application and uh, try to index some places. So this application actually usually does it like somewhere close to 1700 to 2000 range of documents per second. So that is kind of good enough speed to index the entire planet-wide DB in less than a day. So yeah, on the server which was provided to me, I was able to successfully index planet-wide DB in less than 15 hours few times and all that. So speed has been like optimized to make sure things go well. As you can see, it's my local DB which has like some 35. Yeah, the indexing is already done. It took maybe like some 15 to 20 seconds, and I have already indexed my local DB in my suggestions, Elasticsearch suggestions. Let's quickly go here and try to try them out, right? Oh, before trying them out, okay. I think indexing part is done. We'll see what is the next step. That is host the suggestions via the Hug API. So, yeah, if you can see this file, this Hug actually helps us host APIs. We are hosting like multiple endpoints, like autocomplete is one of the endpoints, and another one is okay. The prefix match endpoint. As I described earlier, right? These are the same which are actually hosted on the GSoC server as well. The same ones, now I'm trying to host them locally. To host them locally, I just run this command, hug -f search.py. Again, instructions to set all this up, and you just have to clone and run these commands. These commands are also properly detailed in the in this particular repository, where I talk about what are the requirements to be installed, how do you run each of the files. As you can see, like I've mentioned everything here. So now it shows that it is serving. We try to go here. Okay, localhost 8000. As you can see, this is the same as previous, right? So I just go for autocomplete endpoint, then try for country. Okay, country is the search I'm making. I'm getting Monaco, Andorra. These are the two countries that I indexed in my local DB, and East Sussex is not a country, but yeah, there is country in its name, so it came up. As you can, yeah. Any questions so far as to locally how I'm doing this? So if you see East Sussex, if I search, I'll get like East Sussex as the first result, then Lewis, East Sussex as the second, and so on. It just keeps like that. Then another thing is, yeah, the same features which I described earlier, right? Reverse and all that, that also exists here. So locally, I don't have Nominatim UI setup, so that's why I am not showing in that UI. But one thing is, I just wanted to show how kind of easy it might be to set up your website to access the suggestions. Now that you have suggestions, maybe not everyone will be using Nominatim UI, right? So like as part of my GSoC, I set up the front end for Nominatim UI. So now Nominatim UI is a separate, uh, repository where I have a pull request which does all this work, like which sets up this particular setup. Now maybe you want to do on your own. So for that, I'll just show you how many changes are there. There are very minimal changes. By that, you can actually set up suggestions on your own. So it's like, if you see, this is the exact like pull request that I made, which has, I mean, this is a pull request for UI part. As you can see, there are very few files like suggest.css, which provides the like required CSS for just making few front end tweaks like highlighting and stuff. So if you see, just this highlight and all is being done by that CSS file. Then going to JavaScript, which actually does the fetching part. It tries to fetch data from the API, API endpoints which I have laid. So this is one file you need to keep. And one key part is in your main, no matter what your setup is, right? You'll have one search page. In that search page, you just include this, include these two files, suggest.js, suggest.css. Then you just change your search bar minutely so that it will just call the suggester function. So suggester function is the main function which actually fetches and shows the suggestions over there. By basically adding these like maybe 10 lines and adding these two files, your front end can have this like Nominatim suggestion setup. I'll show you quickly. I mean, I was doing this like this morning just to maybe try out how things go. So I have, as you might remember, like currently Nominatim hosts Nominatim UI, but previously it used to have its own website, which is a little different from this, right? This is Nominatim UI, This is the standard Nominatim website. So I just added the same few lines which I was mentioning here. Like I just directly took them, put them here. And as you can see, uh, there are already like, I mean, there are small changes to be made. Like maybe your source is different. For this particular application, the source is my GSoC server. No, for your application, it could be a little different. You could have a different endpoint to provide suggestions. With those minor tweaks, you can actually set up here as well. This is my local host, Nominatim. If I search for Sussex and then maybe a river, so yeah, I get all the rivers which are there in uh, Sussex. So yeah, I'm getting results like this. This is the kind of setup you could. I mean, this is very simple, right? Like you can just take up the code from the like this particular pull request with, and you can just straight away use it in any distribution. I mean, it might need few tweaks, but it is that much only. Like once you have the backend part is same for any Nominatim distribution. So that's one thing I wanted to cover. Yeah, this is how to entirely set up the suggestions for your any distribution of Nominatim. Now, coming to future work that can be done as part of this project, there is like small discrepancy as to how the country codes need to be handled. Currently, the current country codes, as you can see, are being shown here. I'm still like discussing with my mentors as to directly incorporating them while indexing, or maybe looking up, later. That will be solved soon only. Then one more thing we'll be doing soon is like setting up a test suite for this whole thing. Then improve UI, right? Like UI can maybe still be incremented. As you can see, like okay, this particular like scrolling, I'm currently scrolling this list by using my keyboard. So this wasn't there when the GSoC ended. Then later, one of the users, Mishal Shah, like he suggested that this would be a very nice feature. That's when we actually went ahead and put this feature into our repository. So still, like if more issues keep coming in, maybe more tweaks can be done and UI can be improved. Then duplicate entries is one major issue actually. I'll just quickly show you. Maybe this will show something. Okay, as you can see, like there are 3 entries with, okay, this, yeah, basically in OpenStreetMap, there are like multiple places with multiple entries of the same thing, no? So that could cause a huge issue when indexing in Elasticsearch. Maybe our results can be bombarded with uh, only one result. So that needs to be fixed. We tried something during, this GSoC project, but it did not work out that well. So that's why we kind of kept that in hold, and maybe that will be looked into as future scope of this project. I'll be closing the local server for now. Yeah. Then apart from that, you can see adding new endpoints, right? Maybe like there might be different needs altogether. Like currently we looked into tokenization and then we looked into fuzzy search. Maybe if someone needs some other kind of endpoints, even that could be added. That could be one of the future works. And also any issues reported by users could be looked into and made into better results. As I think in this call also we saw that Hyderabad wasn't showing up. I'm not entirely sure if it's because of the wiki score or somehow that place got missed. So like such kind of issues will always improve the open source code. So yeah, that's about it. Any questions so far before we get any further?
Rahul, I have one question actually.
Yeah.
So, in suppose if a river name Kaveri is spelled as K-A-V with K also, some people will spell with C also. How does
Oh
search
yeah.
engine work in that case?
Okay. So Kaveri. I mean, what I'm doing, okay, you're asking in terms of nominatim or in terms of like my search engine
Nominatum.
search as
Search.
okay.
Search.
Search engine, I'm not 100% sure because I mean I started working with Nominatum a little recently only, right? So one thing we could do is I'll just show you how Nominatum actually uh, does this stuff. This is my local host thing. Yeah, basically every query tries to normalize and then try to find the same keyword, but there are actually internally stored few terms which are like mapped to different things. But for Kaveri, it's directly searched for Kaveri as it is only. Uh, I think
Okay.
I don't remember correctly, but there is a small database of few things uh, like as to like which are few special keywords, maybe the and all those kind of things are there. But for places particularly, nothing like term matching is there as of now. It will just directly search for K only. It won't see C. But I think here, if you see in my
Yeah.
suggestions which I'm providing, Kaveri is like the name, but the English name is stored as Kaveri
Yeah.
with C.
Yeah. Kaveri.
So that is being shown in brackets. So that's how it is being done now. Yeah, one more like thing is like I have added this parenthesis part for language, making it easy for people to understand if the searches are in different language. But we are working towards which I mean, maybe display. Then when user selects, only one of the languages will be entered. Because now, if I think you might have noticed that uh, if I select this directly and search, it doesn't give straight away results. So I have to either select this or that. So this is a minor tweak which we'll be doing like soon.
Okay.
Make sure things go properly. Yeah.
Thanks.
Uh,
Uh, yeah. Anybody
yeah,
have
any
any
other
questions?
Rahul, I have one question regarding the indexing. Do you know if whether the indexing takes all the codes and every resource available, or is this a single thread process? I'm not sure about Elastic and Python.
Oh, is it? Are you asking about importance score?
No,
Sorry.
indexing.
Indexing. Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
like you mean like when I'm doing indexing?
yeah.
I'm
Does it
using.
take?
I'm using. Okay. Okay. I'll show you how I'm doing. Oh, even that is actually a tweak which any user can do. I kind of forgot to mention that. It's there in the documentation, but I forgot to mention here. So there is one particular variable called bucket size. Can you see? Yeah, bucket size indicates the number of docs to bulk index. So if you change this value, now suppose currently it is 10,000. What I do is 10,000 places in PostgreSQL database are taken. They are, I mean, their addresses are found. Once 10,000 is limit is reached, that is when I'm doing bulk indexing into the Elasticsearch. So if you change this size, then like every 1,000 documents once indexing will be done. Like we kept 10,000 because we saw 10,000 as one of the ideal numbers, which actually worked. Maybe right now if I'll keep 30,000 and try to index again, uh, oh, it won't because I've kind of closed the Elasticsearch server now, no? But yeah, I think this is the question you're asking, right? About the bucket size.
Yeah, exactly.
So we are doing bulk indexing only. Initially, we had done like solo indexing. That was very long and tiresome process. So we went for bulk indexing. Elasticsearch has really good support too, so this helps this. Also,
Would
as part of yeah, go on.
Yeah, would it be possible for you to make that as an input argument? The
Uh,
on powerful machines, it can be increased uh, uh, on normal non-powerful like laptops, it can be decreased.
yeah, true. It can be, yeah, it can be changed. Like that's what. If I change 30,000, it will try to run at 30,000 once. I have actually coded it in such a way that every 1 second, right? Yeah, if doc count reaches like I mean doc count is a variable. When it reaches zero, I'm kind of like making sure it indexes. So it's like every 30,000 document, like every basically if your machine is very powerful, you can actually increment the size and then go for like number based on that. Actually, one more thing is on the GSoC server which was given to me, it had like I think Ryzen 3900X and 128 GB of RAM. So that was a very powerful machine. There I was able to easily strike 30,000 per second. Uh,
Mhm.
so I like yeah. Uh, but for my local machine it was 10,000. So like to keep it uniform, we just by default kept it 10,000. But if it doesn't work on your machine, you can always like change or you can increase based on how good your machine is.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
Any other questions? So I just want I mean we are using Elasticsearch, right? There is one more uh, like product by Apache which is SOLR, which is also a very similar implementation. Like it has almost the same capabilities as Elasticsearch, but still like as part of this project there was detailed comparison which was done for Solar and Elasticsearch, and what features are given by both of them. So after doing all that, we kind of saw that Elasticsearch has more easier, Python support than Solar. So we went ahead and actually took Elasticsearch as our preferred stack. So yeah, if you want to read more about like what work has been done, this diary entry could be the place. Yeah. Any other questions?
I think no one has any
No.
questions.
All right. So
Uh,
yeah, I'll
yeah,
yeah I'll move on to like next thing. It is acknowledgement. So I think for me like open source. I mean before this year, like I wasn't really like I did not do any major open source contributions. In I mean there is one professor called like Mohit Thailand in our college who definitely encouraged us a lot to contribute to open source and uh, like start applying for GSoC. That's where like I started the open source. That's why I started the open source journey. And then my senior Mishal Shah, I think he's on this call as well. He also motivated me a lot to apply for GSoC this year. Uh, Along that, like my mentors like Sarah Hoffman and Mark Travers, who are constantly maintaining the Nominatim repository. Even they helped me out a lot during this particular project. So yeah, huge thanks to all of them. Yeah, and
this is
thank you,
great.
Chetan
Yeah.
and OpenStreetMap India for letting me give this talk and like show my work.
Thank you, Ravil, for taking time, to speak with us on this. This is a very good project. I mean, if anybody want to, contribute to this particular project, please connect with Rahul, and also please take a look into his diary. It has every information. And yeah, this has been great. I mean, thank you, Rahul. Yeah, once again.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Uh,
Like, yeah, if anyone wants to
um,
set up, right? I could. I mean, if anyone is trying to use this, maybe I could. Like, if anyone wants to set up suggestions on their nominative instance, if they have a different instance, I mean, please feel free to reach out to me. I could help you set it up. That as
that's
well.
great.
Yeah.
I think yeah, by this I think this is beautiful. Uh, let's continue. Let's talk the same thing in the next month also. If anybody wish to talk or give any thing that you are contributing to the OpenStreetMap project, feel free to reach out to me or Navin. Um, we can schedule a session in the next month on this. And again, once again, thanks to Rahul for taking time to uh, prepare all the slides and tell the same thing to us. Yeah, we'll see in the next edition of Virtual Mapias. Till then, stay safe, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for
Yeah,
attending.
ending the
Thank you.
session. Yeah, bye bye.